Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corcoran Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13.
This is Dad from Devil Driving.
This is Motorist from War. You're listening to RABID NOISE
on RABID Radio.
Turn it up.
Welcome back to RABID NOISE. That was the Master Butcher's Apron by Carcass, who will be shredding across the country next month with Napalm Death on the Death Crusher Tour. And joining us once again on the show is the one and only Bill Steer from Carcass. Great to have you with us again, man. How you been?
Very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Very good, thanks, man. So as we mentioned, you're hitting the road with Napalm Death on one of the most anticipated tours of the year. Both legendary bands on one bill, and I got to say, we're getting pretty spoiled this time around, man. Could we possibly see both bands join forces on stage for a monster jam, considering you were a member of Napalm years ago?
Well, anything's possible. I mean, I guess, as you're probably aware, it's not the most obvious type of music for jamming, but you never know what we might come up with. Yeah, we'll just take it as it comes, I guess. Well,
that'd be pretty cool to see, man. Getting up there and jamming out with those lads. Something special for us Aussies. But, I mean, I guess, as I said, we're getting spoiled as it is, so can't ask too much, can we?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think often with these things, like if somebody's going to do a guest spot on a tour, it's a lot down to just whether there's the sound check time to get your heads together and figure something out. So, yeah, it's usually just a practical matter, I guess.
Very true. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But last time we saw you guys down here was, of course, on your headline tour in support of Surgical Steel. And during that show, you messed with us all by playing some techno music over the PA, which was pretty funny. What other things have you done over the years to, get a bit of a rise out of your fans?
Jeff isn't here to answer that one. Goodness. I'm trying to think. I mean, that incident that you refer to, yeah, I think we had a brief phase where we'd leave the stage and AK or Sandman would put on something kind of offensive to people's ears just for the sake of reaction. But, yeah, I don't know, really. I mean, I guess if you go back to the early days of Carcass, the three-piece days when it was Jeff, Ken, and myself, I guess we liked pushing that kind of imagery, the stuff that you see on the early album sleeves. That was our idea of, it's messing with people's heads or whatever. And then I think by the time we had Michael on board, we were actually doing some kind of crude slideshow with some of those images. I definitely remember we did that in the States, like we'd hang up a white backdrop and project these images onto it. And then as the years got by, we sort of got a little bit more focused on the music, I guess. And I think Jeff's tried to bring it all together somewhat in recent years. When we tour, sometimes you have some of those old elements that we used to have, just done in a slightly more professional way.
The practical joke on your crowd, that was I thought that was gold.
Oh, cool.
It was, yeah. And, of course, the visuals and everything as well, on the serious note, that was, because that was, as I said last time, that was my first time seeing Carcass. And it definitely didn't disappoint, man. It was probably my favourite show of the year.
Brilliant. Well, that's high praise indeed.
I'm pretty sure this one's going to be right up there as well. So, you got your original banner back last time too, didn't you?
We did, yeah. I'm sure you have kind of heard the story behind that. But when we played Brisbane first time around, somebody stole it immediately after we played. I mean, within a couple of minutes of our leaving the stage, the backdrop was gone. And we just couldn't believe this because the thing was huge and it would have required a team of people to get up there and remove it. And then they would have had to get up the stairs past security. Somehow they did all of this in a matter of a few minutes. And, we never saw the thing again until last year. And I guess the guy was a bit sheepish. He didn't want to return it in person, so I think he packaged it up in a box and then dropped it off at an off license around the corner from the venue. But yeah, I mean, we very much appreciate it. Obviously, times have changed and we can't use that backdrop anymore anyway because, the whole fire regulation thing is so strict these days. But it's nice to have the thing back. That's for sure.
Even after all those years, I mean, that would have been pretty unexpected, but that's pretty damn cool that you've actually
it's quite touching that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just nice that the guy cared enough to do that. We're not going to hold it against him. We'll do stupid stuff when we're young. I mean, just listen to our early records.
Or that it haunted him for like 20 years. He felt bad.
Oh God, I hope not. I mean, Christ, if that's the worst thing he ever did, there's nothing to worry about.
Well, I'm glad you got it back though, man. And where is it now? Is it like in the hung up somewhere, or is it in a shed or?
None of us have a place that's anywhere near big enough to hang that thing. So yeah, it's just folded up and stored away with some of our gear right now.
Oh, well, man, that's awesome, man. Well, when it comes to touring, you're away from home for long periods of time. What's the one thing that, you take with you that you can't live without?
Let me think now. I mean, I guess there's obvious things like music, but I mean, you can carry music around with you on your phone. So, I mean, mine would be loaded up with, a good chunk of my record collection. But I think if you're asking about things that are less obvious, probably just something like a bottle of Tabasco sauce. Because sometimes you're in a place and the food just needs a little bit more kick, and they don't have any hot sauce. So I just like to be prepared for those situations. Okay,
so sauce. And do you put that on the rider, though? Do you usually you have to have that?
Well, sometimes I think it might actually be on the rider now, because in the past I used to just throw it in my wash bag just to be safe. But the last couple of trips we've done, we have actually had hot sauce waiting for us, so that's brilliant.
That's awesome, man. Well, what else is, say, on your rider? Your request, have your requests changed over the years? What's a must to have for you guys apart from hot sauce?
It's fairly predictable stuff, mostly booze. Jeff's quite partial to that bourbon, or I mean, whatever you call it, Tennessee whiskey called Gentleman Jack, the stuff that Jack Daniels make. I prefer Scotch single malts, so if we're lucky, we get both of those. And yeah, then it's just the usual suspects, really, just tons of beer, a fair bit of water. Dan the drummer likes a Red Bull for some reason. And there's tons of vegetarian food, because several of us are vegetarian. But it's pretty dull. There's nothing outlandish on there. Are
you a vegetarian, did you say?
Yeah. I mean, I say that, it's just a convenient way of putting it. I mean, I'm not what you'd call a strict vegetarian, because I'm not forever reading the ingredients on packets, and I do wear leather shoes, but I just don't eat meat or fish. I just don't like the texture or the taste. But, yeah, I've been doing this since the 80s, so I guess it's just habit now.
Well, there you go, man. That's something I didn't know about you. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I got a few veggie friends myself, and a few of the hardcore vegan ones too. They won't touch anything.
Yeah, we used to do that. Yeah, Jeff and me were both vegans for a few years. And I take my hat off to anybody who's still at it. It's very commendable. But yeah, I think I just hit a wall with that one.
Yeah, it would be hard, man. I couldn't do it. I'm total carnivore, but So, well, your last release was the Surgical Remission Surplus Steel EP, which had some tracks recorded during the Surgical Steel sessions. Have you guys got plans for a full length follow up to Surgical Steel in the near future?
Yeah, we do. Nothing concrete though. It's really early stages, but Dan and myself have got together a few times and blasted through some new tunes. And I'm imagining in the summer, when the festival season's on, we'll have a little bit of time during the weekdays to work on more stuff. And we'll just, do it as we feel it, really. I couldn't tell you exactly when we'd start work proper in terms of recording, because that's a long way off. The one thing we don't want to do is rush, because if we're going to take the trouble to make a new album, it has to be worthwhile. We can't really just play it safe and do a similar kind of recipe to the previous record. It's got to be substantially different. Yeah, I guess we just, you're very aware of what the best use of your time is. And to make another album, I mean, it's something we'd love to do, but we're not going to take it lightly, if you know what I mean.
Well, man, if it's anything like Surgical Steel, it's going to be amazing. because that was my top album of that year. When it was 2013, wasn't it? Was when it came in.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I know.
Well, no, thanks for that. I'm really glad you liked it. Yeah. I mean, we're still relatively satisfied with that record, but at the same time, there are things we would do differently now. I think that's really what happens every time you make a recording. You come away with a few little lessons you've learned, and hopefully you'll be able to apply some of those next time around.
Well, man, it sounds like it's going to get real interesting. I can't wait to hear what you guys are working on. I don't care if I have to wait another 5 years. Well, yeah.
Well, I'm really hoping it isn't that long.
Well, let's go on a bit.
Yeah, trust me, I'm getting itchy feet already.
All right, so I'll give you 6 months. Let's just go with that, hey? So, well, we're going to go to the track Granulating Satanic Dark Mills from Surgical Steel now. Thanks for hanging with us tonight, Bill, and we'll see you in Brisbane at the Hi-Fi on April 19.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Cheers, bye.